Howdy everybody, Michelle here, and today I'm going to give you a quick tutorial of my gradient diamonds hat. This is just basically going to show you guys how to work the diamonds in. I have this handy chart here in the written pattern, which again, just like every other video that I have a pattern with, I highly recommend that you grab this so that way it's easier to follow along. Now, what I did earlier, because I'm working up one here, but I'm doing this one a little different because somebody asked if it could be done a little differently, which I will show you. So as you can see, this one that I have here, this is what I'm working off of. I love charts. They're so easy to follow. And this is really helpful because you won't always have videos to go along with written patterns, and having a chart is just as good. All right. So as you can see, I have some of those marked off. Those are the ones that I've already done on this hat here. And I still have the last two diamonds, the top one and this one here, which I'm going to show you guys how to do that. But again, make sure that you grab, if you haven't already, the written pattern. Now, I don't have this hat anymore. Literally, the moment I posted it, one of the girls from the local coffee stand snagged it. And then she got jacked because her son took it. So I figured, well, I have to make another one anyway, and which I am. So I'm just going to show you guys how to do this. Now, with this one here in the picture, I actually worked with 4 different colors. I had my main color, which was the peacock blue, which is this darker blue, and then that runs through. And then I had the blue Hawaii, which is this second color here. Let me see if I can pull it closer. There you go. So it's this second color right over here with the first 2 set. And then the third one is called Iced Aqua. And that's this lighter one between the white and the darker blue, and then obviously white. And then what I did is I took all the colors, all 4, and I made the palm with it. Okay, so with this one here that I'm working on now, what I've done is I've actually just taken regular black. I'm using Karen Simply Soft. It's a worsted weight. It's super soft, and it's a little on the thin side, so be aware if you're going to do that. And then this is also Karen Simply Soft Rainbow Bright. I love it. It's such a fun little color, or colors, and they really pop against the black. So as you can see, this one is coming together. It is so fun. I'm literally going to keep this or make another for myself because I do have enough of the black and that to do another one, but it comes together so easily. I literally just started this last night at the end of the night, and I'd already done the first and second diamond, and then today I did all of it. Obviously not these last 2 because I wanted to show you guys how to work those in. So this is what the outside looks like, and it's really just popping with color. Okay, this is upside down so you guys can see a little bit better, but it really stands out. And when I do the palm, I'm going to do the palm in the Rainbow Bright colors just to give it that extra pop of color, as if it doesn't already have enough. But I love it against the black. Now the inside, it does look like what some people like to call a spaghetti mess, but it actually lays really flat. And how I do it, you can see they kind of cross over so they hold one another down. They're not all sticking out. Now, obviously, I have this little guy over here, which that was the beginning of my Rainbow Bright yarn when I started. I will weave that in, and then when I close it, you won't see any others. So it's just going to be really nice, and it will lay really well as well. So let's get started. Now, what I like to do, because with this chart that I created, everybody, I'm just letting this lay flat for me. It's a little easier to work with. Boom. With this chart that I made for you guys, you'll see that now this blue here, the dark blue here, this is actually my black in this one. So this is going to be your main color. And if you look on here, I put you a little color legend. So that way, if you're going to do this exact one, you'll know which one goes where. Now, if you're not going to follow with these same exact colors, which I would rather you make your own and be creative, this handy little chart is great because what you could do is right next to it, you can write, okay, if you're going to use black as your main color, you write black. And then if you pick 3 different colors to work with, just write those names so that way you know, diamonds. This section 1, this section 2 is going to be red. This, 3 and 4 is going to be orange. This 5 and 6 is going to be yellow. Whatever colors you want to choose. Or if you really want to make it easy on yourself, like I am here with this one, find a yarn that has self-striping color or fun colors, variegated yarn, and go with it. That way you don't have to worry about changing colors, but the option's there if you want to. Lots of variables with this. Okay, so right now I just want to focus on showing you guys how to do this diamond. So right now what I just finished was this line right here, and then I'm going to go up to these, and this works up really quick. So what I like to do to make things move along with me a little faster, let me reset. There we go. I like to, because each one has 2. So for this round, which is number 41 that I'm going to be working on, I know that I have 2 rounds where my colored yarn, my Rainbow Bright yarn, I'm going to have 2 rows, have 2 each on each of one of these diamonds. And what I've done, and I know this looks chaotic to you guys, but trust me, it'll make sense. I got masking tape and I masked off my entire loom, as you can see, and then I marked it by 8. So this is my starting peg, because with KBs, they don't really have an anchor peg. Usually people will use the anchor peg as your main peg. So what I did is I have 2 different color markers, technically 3, but 2 different color markers. So I have the bottom and the top. So the bottom row is marked 1 through 8. And then if you notice the top row, it's a little different because where my 1 is, there's a 5 there. And you're probably like, Michelle, what are you doing? This is why. So you want to do your bottom ones 1 through 8 all the way around. This is the 80 peg loom. So you'll have 10 sections, meaning you'll have 10 diamonds all the way around. And then once you have that done, and make sure you write it small enough that you can get 2 sets of numbers on here. I like to use my Sharpie fine points. That really helps me a lot. Now, once you have those 1 through 8s marked on the first ones all the way around, then you're going to go over, because you're going to have the second ones, which allow you to overlap your diamonds where one looks like this, and then the other one starts in the middle of the 8 on this side. Okay. So what you want to do is on the ones that you've already marked 5 on the first set of 1 through 8s you did, start your ones there. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then do that all the way around. That will help you when you're doing your 2 sets of diamonds. You'll know which ones go where. So if you look at my chart here, let's look up here at this one. So on 41, you can see here on this side where I have it, it looks like it's split. But when you're doing a chart in the circle, these actually connect and it looks the same as one of these here. But as you can see, 1 through 8 is this right here. Okay. Now 1 through 8 up here, which is the top layer, looks like this whole one here. So as long as you follow along with this chart, even if you get interrupted a lot, as long as you have a stitch counter, what I do is I just go as I go along with my stitch counter. You know exactly where you are. You know exactly which one you're working on, and you just keep it going. Okay. So as we said, I'm on 41, row 41. And my starting peg is going to be my number 1, which is my number 1 here on the bottom. And that's why I put that one on the bottom, because I know that this is my bottom. If I break them down into sections of 2, this is my bottom set of diamonds Okay, so this is 1 and 2. This one's on the bottom, that one's on top. That way it makes it easier enough for me to remember. Okay, so what I do is I always start with my color, my contrast color 1, and in this case I only have the Rainbow Bright because I'm not doing multiple contrast colors. So I'm just going to use my contrast color. Okay, now what I'm going to do is, as you can see here, I already have this started off where I finished up on the last one. Now I'm going to start my next diamond, this one, and I'm just going to go over here. And as you can see, I have some that are yellowed up, highlighted. That just tells me where my center points are in my diamonds. Okay, so for this, you're going to bring your working yarn behind all of these other ones. Come in front and don't pull it super tight. Your tension is really important with this, because if you pull it super tight, it's going to make it really difficult for you to knit it. You could break a peg, you could break your yarn, you could break your hook. You don't want to break any of that. Okay, so sorry, I'm working through the camera to do this so you guys can see. So then I've knitted off those two, and then you're probably wondering, like, well, what about these? Do you color those? No, because those are these two at the top of 30, or excuse me, row 40, but here on 41, those are going to go black. Okay, so just bear with me here. Right now I'm working on these other ones. Actually, this is so difficult to do through the camera, and I'm sorry you guys hear Turd yelling because you're not going outside. He wants out, and he's not allowed to go outside because there's another cat out there. But he doesn't go outside at all anyway. All right, so just go around to all of your marked ones and just knit those off, and we're just U-knitting. There is no E-wrap with this at all. You're going to U-knit or true knit, which is the same thing. And again, watch your tension. You don't want it to be so tight that you can't get this looped over and you get frustrated, and then you don't want to do any type of U-knit again. Pull some more yarn out. And I'm sorry for the delay on this. I have so many things going on right now with writing up some patterns for my patrons. I do 2 a month for them, and everybody's been asking me for this, so I figured I'd write it up real quick while I'm between writing up the other patterns. All right, now you can do this on any loom that's divisible by 8, obviously, because you're going to need 8 pegs. So if you want to use a chunkier yarn and do it on the 48 peg chunky, you go right on ahead and do that, because you can. Okay, so what I did is I went around it once, and I have a stitch counter on my phone that I'm keeping track of this. So since I'm on my phone recording this, what I'm doing is I take my chart and I will go like this. So I know that I've done those 1. Now I know you're going, but what about the black? We're going to get to the black. All right. I do 2 rounds of the color. And then I do 2 rounds of the black. And that's why it makes this go really easier and much faster. But make sure you're doing it on the right ones. Don't get too distracted. So right now I know I'm working on the top set. So I have a tendency to get interrupted a lot, whether it's because of the animals, whether it's people messaging me, whether it's people asking questions on Facebook or whatever. So it's really easy for me to keep track where I am when I use this chart. That way, if I do get interrupted, I know exactly where I left off. And because this is all U-knit, you don't have to worry about, like what somebody was saying today, forgetting what you're doing, whether you're doing a knit or a purl or anything like that. This is all U-knit. And then you're just going to go all the way around to your starting peg. And this works a whole lot easier than switching colors the whole way for each individual peg. They don't get all tangled up and messy and everything else. It just moves along a lot smoother when you do it like this. All right, so now I'm back to my starting peg. I'm going to grab my chart. Normally when I was using my phone for that, I would know. So now I'm going to mark off, this is my contrast color for this second row. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to do these 2 rows in these areas in black. Okay, and this is going to also go over the, let me move that over to this side and move this one over to this side. This is going to go over the other ones that are already colored that we don't need right now. And then that way it makes it easier when you move along. All right, so because this is my starting peg right here, this is my first black one. That's the first one that you're going to go to. Now, again, when you're moving between them, you bring your working yarn behind, then come in front and work that peg. This is basically the same as Fair Isle. So these 2 are the ones that we're working with currently. So what I'm going to do is go to those, and then I'm going to knit these ones off in my main color, which here it is black. All right, so now I have 6 black here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if you notice, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so just continue that around. You're going to skip these 2 because you've just done these. Go to the one black one next to it and knit 6 across. All right, and then just continue that all the way around. These 2 I leave alone. Go to the next black one, knit it off, all 6. All right, and go behind these 2 and the next 6. And you continue this all the way around. All right, so go ahead, pause the video and continue around, and I will meet you back here in just a moment. All right, so I've done 1 round and I started doing the second when I realized that I wasn't recording yet. So I stopped myself. So here I am at my starter peg and I'm getting ready to do the second round of black. So far, I'm going to mark off this completely. And I'm going to do my black in the second, and it's the same one. So all the ones that are currently black on here now on all your pegs, you're just going to re-knit those same exact ones off and then meet me back here and we'll go to the next one. All right, and now I am coming up on the end of my second round of black. All right, so on my chart, as you can see here, now this one is done as well. So I'm just going to mark right through that. Now we have to increase the colored ones, the rainbow bright ones, and decrease the black. But as you see on these 2 rows, each of them will have 4 of each color. So here on mine, it would be 4 black and 4 of the rainbow bright on each diamond going all the way around. Now how we do that? Super easy. What I'm going to do is swap these 2 out. I like to drop this in here. It makes it easier while I'm working on it so it's not dragging extra yarn all over the place. All right, so as you can see, my working yarn is all the way back here at this one, and we have to go out to this one. So again, just like the others, you're going to bring all this working yarn behind all of these pegs, and you're going to go and increase this out by 1. So these were the 2 that we did, which is actually 1 and 8 on your masking tape. So now we're going to cover 7, 8, 1, and 2 on each section. So you just knit it off, and then the one next to it, and next to it, and next to it. Okay, go to your next color section. Start at the one right before it, number 7, and you're going to knit 4 of those. And as you see, in between, I have 4 color, 4 black, and 4 color on this one now. Okay, so 4, 4, and 4. And you're just going to repeat that all the way around. And you're going to do it twice with the color, and then meet me back here once you come to your starter peg. All right, so continue by pausing the video, keep working on it, and then meet me back here once you've done 2 rounds of color. All right, and as you can see, I'm coming up here on my starter peg. So this is my 2nd round of color done. And another little tip, if you're working and you get interrupted and for some reason you forgot to write down on your chart which one you did or didn't do, if you look on the inside of your working yarn, you'll see there's 2 different strands of color, the same length. That one's kind of hard to see because it's purple. Let's see. Oh, here we go. So as you can see on this one here, there's 1 green one and 1 yellow one. So that way you know, okay, I forgot where I was. Take a look at it. If you have 2 of them that are the same size on the inside, you know you did 2 rounds of that. Same thing with the black, okay? So now that I'm done with my rainbow bright color, I'm going to put that here in the center just to keep that yarn out of my way. And I'm going to take my chart and mark off where I already did my color on both of these. And then the great thing about this is we've already increased the color ones, so all the black ones, you just knit those over. You don't have to really do much with those. So you just start knitting the ones that are there because that's the exact number that you'll need. So as you can see, I have 4 colored ones and then I have 4 black ones. So bring that working yarn behind and knit off all 4 of these. You just continue that all the way around. Go ahead and pause the video, and when I get to the end of my 2nd round of black, I will meet you back here. All right, and I'm coming up on the last section. Now because this was my starter peg, that's where I started, so that's why I'm not knitting those 2 off right now. All right, so I did 2 rounds of color, and then I went ahead and did 2 of the black. So now I grab my handy dandy chart and a line right through them. And like I said, this works up really quick. That's what I love about it, because you're changing things so much. And even though you're knitting off 80 pegs, it goes by like that. All right, so now we're going to do our next increase of color. This is going to be 6 in each diamond here. We're going to increase by 1 on each side. And then here you'll notice that we're only going to have 2 sections in between each diamond with black. So we're going to do the same thing as before. Let's swap these out. Put my color over here. And as you can see here, I have my last color one ending over here, which is 3 pegs from my starter. It has to come to here to start my increase. So it's the one right next to my starter peg. Again, you bring the working yarn behind all of these and cross over this black yarn. So as you can see, my black yarn is here. I always cross over that because that's what helps keep them nice and tight in here. So they're not all loose and sagging and just ugly looking. All right. So bring it behind all of that, past your starting peg by 1 and increase 1, just like we did for the 4. So here we go. 2, 3, 4, 5, and then increase 1 more on this side. All right. So again, over here, we're going to skip 2 because remember, we're going to have 2 black ones in between each diamond. So increase this one, knit over the 4 colored ones you already have there. and then go to one more of the black ones. So skip 2 of the black ones, because remember, we're going to have those there. And just keep increasing all the way around. All right. So when you finish your increases, pause the video, meet me back here, and then I'll show you the next one. All right. And I'm coming up on the end of my first increase color row. Here we go. All right. So now you will see, let me put this up here. Here's my starter peg. So I have 2 black ones, 6 color ones, 2 black ones, 6 color ones, 2 black ones, 6 color ones, all the way around. Okay, so that was our first increase of 6 for the color. So handy dandy marker, mark off on your chart. Now I know I'm going to do my second. So because we've already increased, I'm just going to go ahead and just re-knit all those 6 in each section that I had just increased on. Okay, so go ahead, pause the video, go all the way around. I'll meet you back here when I'm done this row. All right, so I am coming up on the end of my second color row. Grab my handy dandy chart and mark it off. All right, so as you guys can already see, like I showed you just a few minutes ago, you have some in here that are 2 pegs with black on them. We don't have to do anything to those other than simply knit them off. Now on our next row, our next 3 sets, you'll see that this is where we start increasing the black and decreasing the color. And then you'll completely understand the rest of this chart. So what you do is, I put my Rainbow Bright up in here because I'm not using that now. And again, as you can see, I have that working yarn here, and here's my black one. And I cross it over just so it gives it a nice tight little snug on the inside. Okay, don't make it so tight that your tension is just miserable. Okay, but tight enough that it keeps them nice and neat looking in here. Okay, so you go to every 2 black ones, and these go super quick, and you knit these off. You're going to do this for 2 rounds, and then meet me back here, and we will increase our black and decrease our color, which gives us that diamond look. All right, so go ahead and pause your video, and I'll meet you back here in just a moment. All right, I am coming up on the second round of my black. All right, so now we are done with these 2 rows completely. Now what we're going to do is we're going to increase our black, or our main color, black for me, and decrease our color. So we went from small to large, and now we're going from large to small. And when we started from small to large, if you noticed, I started with my color first. Now I'm going to start with my black, because that is my marker in a sense when I'm working around which ones I still have left to knit off. So I'm going to leave my Rainbow Bright in there. And what I'm going to do is start my increasing of black. Now, here's my starter peg. That one's already black, so I'm going to knit that one. And then I'm going to knit the one right next to it. Okay, and if you look at your chart, here you're going to have 4 color and 4 black, just like we did down here. So it's going to be equal. So what you do is you hit that first colored one, which I just did. That one was a blue one, and I just knitted it off. Now I want to leave 4 color, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and I go to this last one, I knit that, and then these 2 that were already here, and this first colored one, and you just repeat that all the way around. So skip 4 the color, 1, 2, 3, 4, knit the last one, 2, 3, 4, and you just repeat that all the way around. So it's the first and the last one of the colored sections that you're going to be turning and increasing your black. So you want to make sure that you have 4 of each on these next 2 rows, this one you're working on, and the next one, you'll obviously just knit over on the black ones that you've already done during this. And that's why I said this technique actually works a whole lot easier, because you know exactly where you're at. It works up super quick, and it's really not, people have a tendency to, whoops, sorry, I was out of frame. People have a tendency to overthink a lot when it comes to charts and patterns and stuff like that. So just keep in mind that as much as I would love to make videos for everything that I do, I just don't have enough time in my day with everything else that I'm trying to accomplish and do, between helping other people and working up new patterns for my patrons on my patron page and everything else. So when I write up a pattern and that's the only thing that I have available is the written, please know that I'm not doing it to be mean or anything, and not making a video to be mean or anything. That's not the case. I don't have enough hours in the day, and I haven't quite figured out how to clone myself yet. So there we go. All right, so I'm coming up on the end. Now, this is something that you're going to notice, because this was the last one that you knitted off in color. If that goes really loose, just tug the working yarn there and you'll be fine. And then knit off that last one. And we just increased the black and decreased the color on this. So just take your handy dandy pen, and now we only work the black. So there's that. Okay, so we're going to do one more of those all the way around. Just re-knit all the black ones you just did on that, and then meet me back here. Pause your video. All right, I'm coming up at the end of my second black row. And remember, if that one comes a little loose, that's okay. Just tug your colored yarn. All right, so now we're going to switch. Take my Rainbow Bright yarn, drop my black in there. And for this one, you already have, like we did before, you already have your colored ones marked on your loom. So you just knit those off, the colors that you see standing out. You should have 4 of each, just like we did before. So as you can see, here's my working yarn, here's my starter peg. Now, with this one here, I'm just going to go and knit off all 4 of the colored ones all the way around in each section. Do that twice. Pause the video and meet me back here when you get ready to come up to your starter peg. All right, now I am coming up, whoops, on, get over here, one little piece, there we go, on the end of my color for row 2. There we go. So as you can see, there's my starter peg. All right, so these 2 rows are complete. So let's mark them completely off. All right, and now we're going to increase the black by 6 altogether and decrease where there's only 2. Remember down here how there was only 2 of the black? Now there's going to be only 2 of the color before we switch angles and then we work on this diamond. So I'm going to grab my black and increase that just like we did when we increased it out 4. All right, so let's swap these 2, put that one there. Remember, here's my Rainbow Bright, my previous working yarn, and just kind of hold that snug if you can. And then here's my starter peg. Knit that off. That way it keeps it nice and tight on the inside there. And we're going to go just like before. We're going to grab the first and the last of each color. So first one and the last one, and that's going to leave us 2 of the color ones here. And then you're just going to knit all the blacks, and then when you come to the color ones, first go behind and last. All right, so continue that all the way around, and then on your second round you're just simply going to knit off all the ones that are already black. because you've already increased all that you needed to. And then once you are done that, meet me back here and we'll get to the next section. All right, so I'm coming up on the last ones of my second round of black. There we go. So as you can see, here's my starter peg. I have 6 black, 2 color, 6 black, 2 color, all the way around. Now we're gonna swap these again. Grab my handy dandy chart, and we're gonna mark off these and these, because those are done. So now we're just going to go around, and any of them that have the 2 in color, you're just going to knit those off for 2 rounds. Okay, so here's my starting peg. I'm going to snug that up a little bit, bring them behind all these black ones, and knit it off. Okay, so go around your loom twice and knit off all the colored ones. There should be 2 in each section, and then do that 2 rounds, and then meet me back here. All right, so I am at the end of my second colored row, and as you can see, just like I showed you just a moment ago, you have 6 black and then 2 color, 6 black, 2 color, all the way around. So grab my marker and my chart, and let's mark that off as being complete. And now you're just going to shift over just like we did down here when we got started, and you're going to work your next set of diamonds. So another cheat that you can do on this chart, this is why I think printing it out is pretty handy to work with, is when you write your numbers on here, the 1 through 8, remember you're going to have 2 sections of the numbers 1 and 8 next to each other, and those are going to be where your middle of your diamonds are. Okay, what you could do on your chart. So for this diamond we just did, I work the top numbers. So what you could do is, like right here on the side, draw a little arrow so you know what set of numbers you were working with. And on this set, we know we're going to work with the bottom set of numbers 1 through 8. And there you go. So to get started on that one, just like I showed you in the very beginning of this video when we started this one that we're on right now, here's your starting peg. Okay, we're going to be working with 1 and 8 on the bottom. So your starting peg is the number 1. Now don't start with this one, because this is your last peg. This is your starting, this is your last. This is the first one you're going to worry about. You bring that working yarn behind all these others, starting with your starting peg. And then you're just going to go all the way around to all the ones on the bottom or the top, depending on which ones you're working, and knit off the ones in color that are marked 1 and 8. So for me, it's the bottom set 1 and 8. And this is really going to help you when you get started on the next set. That way you know when you come through with the black, you have to knit off these ones here. And it makes it a whole lot easier. And you're just going to go through and knit those. Bring your working yarn behind all the others, just like before. And this is really pretty repetitious. You're going to do, now if you do different color sets of diamonds, you can really do it however you want. If you want to do 3 different ones, if you want to do another one I was going to do was a black main color with rainbow, because you have 6 sets of diamonds to work with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Purple, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red. That would even look super awesome. But I just wanted to give you guys the staples of this, so that way you can create your own original look, however you want to do it. I mean, even one like fire would look super cool if you used like either a black or white base with like a really dark red and working up to like a bright yellow or gold, you know, however you want to do it. It's not one of those things where you have to follow it exact. I just basically like to give everybody the guidelines. Okay, so as you can see, I'm up on my last bottom 1 and 8. Here's my starter peg. So now I'm going to knit off that one. And again, if the previous yarn you were working with, in this case the black, loosens up just a little bit, just tug it and then go and start your second round. Just hold on to it a little bit. Whoops. And work your second round. And once you have your second round done, you're going to go in and you're going to fill in the black. So pause the video. I'm going to do my second round and then we'll start the black, and then you guys get to fly out of the nest and do the rest yourselves. Be right back. All right, so I'm coming up on my last one here. And now I'm back at my starter peg. So we're going to swap these out. Grab my chart and mark off the colored ones that we've already done, which is these and these. Now we're just going to go in and fill in the black ones, just like we did when we were working on this first diamond down here. But we've shifted, instead of doing a diamond directly above it, we've shifted it over, and it's going to start in the middle of the two diamonds down below, which give it this look where they're diagonal. Okay, so Riley's hair, so that way you have this fun diamond look, and it's alternating sides. So get back in here, pop that in there. Over here is my starting peg, and then we're just going to knit these 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to cover up the top of the last diamond we did. That's what you see right now, but it's going to become this. All right, so here's my starting peg. Here's my color working yarn. You could pull that, oops, and hold it. There you go. So that way it stays nice and snug and looks clean in there. And you knit those off. And that is it. You're going to complete that all the way around, and then on the second you're just going to knit off the 6 black ones, and you're going to continue that process until the entire length is done. Now for me, on this particular one, with this loom that I use to create this hat here in the photo and this hat I'm working on right now, I followed this exactly with all these rows. It was 60 rows total. There you go, 60 rows. And then once I finished the top of my last diamond up here on row 60, you're going to knit 5 more rows of U-knit for casting off. You want it to be between 8.5 to 9 inches long for standard. Now, if you want slouchy, obviously you can go a little bit more and add in some more diamonds. Again, I'm not the looming police. I'm not standing over your shoulder. I'm not Santa Claus, and I can't see who's been naughty or nice. So make it your own. But for me, I'm going to do 5 more just standard U-wrap, or excuse me, U-knit in my main color. And then I'm going to make a pom-pom with the Rainbow Bright, using my Clover Palm Maker, and that is it. So, of course, as always, if you guys have any questions, feel free to message me or email me. Please keep your directions handy. As far as the brim, you can cast on any method that you like. For this one in the picture, I did a 2-2, a 2 knit, 2 purl for, I think it was 10 to 12 rows. Let's see. Yeah, it was about 1.5 inches long. I don't like the brim super long because then it just kind of takes away from the hat. But for this one, I did a standard brim with a fold over. Okay. So that way it's the same in and out. And when I do these, I like to do a purl after I've already knitted it together, and do a row of purl because it gives it that nice little accent. It looks like little pearls in that row. But again, you are the creator. This is totally up to you. Okay. I so love how pretty this is. So there you have it. Again, if you guys have any questions, as always, you're welcome to message me on Facebook. You're welcome to drop me an email. My email address, you guys all should know, it's in the video here at the end of the credits, and also it is in the pattern here, and there you go. So that is all I have for you, lovely ladies and gentlemen. I love you, loomers. Have fun with this, and I can't wait to see what everybody does. Happy looming.